Hey guys, how's it going? Richard here with Alien Bros. I hope you're all doing well. Today, I have some of the strangest UFO sightings for you guys that I have received in quite some time. To be quite honest, this is the first time that I can say they all have me at a loss for words when it comes to an explanation. You guys have been sending over some of the most incredible stuff lately, and I am honored to get to share sightings on this level of strangeness on this channel. After that, I have some news to report on to you guys as well, about a NASA astronaut that had claimed to have saw something while out in space, which he described as quote-unquote organic, and NASA does not seem to want this astronaut's claims to be taken seriously. Much like we have seen with NASA in the past, in order to avoid talking about things that they would rather us just not know about. However, they won't be pulling the wool over our eyes on this one. We will get into more on that later though. For now, let's get into these downright incredible UFO sightings. The first sighting that I want to share with you guys is a rather short one, coming in at only 9 seconds long. However, it shows something beyond incredible in terms of quality UFO footage. It was captured on July 4th of 2018 at 10:15 p.m. over Massachusetts, and it shows what the witness claimed was a triangle-shaped craft, likely a TR-3B. However, to me, the footage shows what appears to be more of a large, solid, circular craft. But the witness likely had a better and longer view of it than I did, so it is hard to say, so you guys can decide for yourselves on what you think about it. I'll go ahead and play the footage for you guys now, and we'll talk more on it after, alright? Here it is.
C'est un drone léger quand même.
Ça me déconne, il télétravaille.
C'est pas un drone, ça.
Ça fait du bruit, ça c'est des avions.
Non, c'est plusieurs avions. Voilà, nous attendons.
So this footage was captured when the witness was on his terrace with his parents and some of his parents' friends, when he suddenly saw about 8 orange lights in a triangle shape flying at a low altitude at a low speed without making any noise at all. They noticed it, then began to film it. They watched it for about 10 seconds, and then the craft mysteriously disappeared entirely after making a linear right turn at a very high velocity. It was there 1 second and gone the next, leaving the witness in this sighting, along with those that were with him, in a state of shock and disbelief at what they had just witnessed. The footage clearly shows something that is not a drone, plane, or anything of the sort. It is clearly a large object with stationary lights on it, and it is honestly rather clear in terms of UFO footage quality. After analyzing the footage, it is clear that whatever the object is in this footage, it was actually there when the witness filmed it. This is not CGI or special effects. This footage is real and untampered with. If you compare the pixelation of the object with the rest of the footage, and also take the note of the behavior of the object when it goes behind the other objects, such as how it slowly moves in the sky behind the power lines, it is apparent that this is not a CGI hoax, or some sort of special effect. Then that begs the question, what is it? You know, we have shared a lot of footage on this channel, and it is rare that we get sent in a piece like this one, but when we do, they leave us genuinely mystified, and I want to know what exactly it was that was piloting this object. Taking into account what the witness said about the object's behavior, it is clear that what we are seeing here is not your typical aircraft, and it far exceeds anything that we have available to public knowledge. No known aircraft that I know of is capable of making 90-degree right turns starting at such low speeds and then just completely disappearing without a trace, in the way that the witness claimed this object did. And with the quality of the footage, I am inclined to take his claim seriously. Let me hear what you guys think about this clip down in the comments, and let me know what you think this object is and who is controlling it. In my personal opinion, I genuinely believe that the witness saw an extraterrestrial ship that night, and I believe this footage is solid evidence of what he witnessed. Alright, let's move on to the second clip that I have for you guys today. This one was sent in to me by a viewer, and it shows slowed down footage of a fast mover UFO, which was captured over his home in Rochester, New Hampshire on September 3rd of 2018 at 8:05 a.m. The footage is slowed down and zoomed in, with a second version that I will play for you guys with the saturation lowered as well. Whatever this thing is, it is clearly traveling very, very fast. I'll go ahead and play you guys the footage now, so check it out. So this footage is definitely strange. This UFO has been slowed down enough to be able to see an outline of the object, which appears as a sort of black circle in the footage. And what really gets me is the way this object just appeared from nowhere out of the clouds. So, what exactly is it that he filmed here? We've shared a lot of footage of fast movers in the past, and to date, we have only had 2 other pieces of footage showing fast movers that are similar to this one. They usually show up as a white streak. However, in this case, we can actually see the shape of the object, and that is certainly something I like when it comes to these sightings. If there is a way to make out some actual details of the object, that would be amazing, but these UFOs, much like this one, are usually moving far too fast to make out what it is that they are, and this one is very clearly nothing conventional. So, the question still stands. What did this witness capture in this footage? Alright, next, I have a sighting for you guys that comes to us from Brooklyn, New York, and it was captured on September 16th of 2018 at 6 a.m. in the morning after waking up on a rooftop. It shows 2 UFOs, one of which exhibits some very strange behavior. Now, when you guys watch this sighting, I want you to not only closely watch the actions of this UFO, but also listen to it closely. The noise it puts off is flat out strange. It is a sort of sharp, high-pitched humming sound, although it sounds nothing like what you would hear with a drone or a helicopter, and it rules out both of those explanations to me. I'll go ahead and play the clip for you guys now, and we'll analyze it afterwards, alright? Now check out this footage.
No, I actually got it. I'm not even gonna say a lot in this video. Wow, you guys see it? Look at that shit. You would think it's a star, but nope. No, that shit is a f***ing aircraft, whatever that is. That's crazy how I got that as soon as I woke up. Oh man. That one too. Wow. Oh wow. Yo, that shit is out, bro. What the Yo, that's type scary, son.
Alright guys, so as I mentioned earlier, this UFO puts off some very strange behaviors. To me, this thing appears to be somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 feet up in the sky, based off of the visual distance between the objects and the buildings. What gets me the most, however, is when the object gets close to the witness and starts to change colors and emanate at least twice as much light as it was before. Also, taking into account how high in the sky I think the object is, it appears to be rather large in its size. That is, if my estimations are correct, and I think they are, but I want to know what you guys think about it. Go ahead and leave your thoughts on this down in the comments. Do you guys that are drone hobbyists know of any drones capable of pulling off the behaviors exhibited by the object in this footage? If so, please let me know down in the comments, and I would appreciate it if you could show me footage of a drone displaying the characteristics of the objects in this footage. At the moment, I think this is a legitimate UFO. Whether it is ET or government, I do not know. I think it may very well be something ET, considering where it was captured would not exactly be the likeliest place that the government would be flying any sort of secret aircraft due to the high population of people, so it seems unlikely to me that it could be anything government. At the moment, it is definitely still a UFO for me. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get into the news that I mentioned earlier when the video started. So it turns out that NASA astronaut Leland Melvin thinks he saw an organic alien-like object floating in space. The former NASA astronaut who served on board the Space Shuttle Atlantic believes the curved and organic object drifted out of the shuttle's payload, but after informing the US Space Agency of his peculiar discovery, he was told to dismiss the possibility of it being extraterrestrial, and instead, NASA told him that it was just ice. It has now been suggested that NASA may have attempted to cover up the claims of this astronaut by writing off his sighting as a big nothing. likely in the hopes that they wouldn't have to do any explaining about what it was the astronaut had witnessed while out in space. The astronaut was questioned on Twitter by Scott C. Waring of UFO Sightings Daily, and the question he asked him to me is incredibly important. The question was, and I quote, "What's your outlook about the existence of intelligent alien life living in our solar system? Have you ever witnessed a UFO? Please share with us. Thanks." End of quote. To which Leland Melvin replied with, and I quote, "I have not seen one in space or on the ground, but I thought I saw something organic/alien-like floating out of the payload bay. I then called the ground to ask what it could be, and it was ice that had broken off the Freon hoses. It was translucent, curved, organic-looking. I was about to say, 'Houston, we have a problem,' but you know everybody spins up when those words are uttered from a space vehicle." To which Waring had then replied to him with, "Thanks for answering. Wow, I think ethics would say that your opinion of it being organic is more reliable than the opinion of someone on the ground control over 400 miles away. Is it possible they lied and called it ice to calm you down and make you focus on the shuttle?" To which Melvin then replied by saying, "Don't think so, but you never know." Now, I am reporting this story for two reasons. The first being, I flashed an article on it in my last video to make an example out of it, which just so happened to be on this story, and it was after that when I realized that I have never reported on this story, and there is a good chance a lot of you likely did not know what case I was referring to. Now, there have been astronauts that have gone out into space that have claimed to have witnessed UFOs, among other nameless things out in space, which we have discussed in past videos, all of which, of course, NASA has flat out denied the credibility of and dismissed the claims entirely. However, evidence from the moon missions, along with ISS live feed footage witnessed by civilians, and images from the Mars rover sent back to Earth, tell a different story entirely, and we have reported on all of it in past videos. And if you don't know which pieces of evidence I am referring to, then I definitely recommend going back and watching them to get yourself up to speed. It seems that every time someone claims to have seen some form of life in space, whether it be on the moon, fungi on Mars and the Mir, or witnessed by a civilian on the ISS live feed, we always get told the same story about how we're crazy and it was ice crystals and the astronauts were seeing things, and along with a bunch of other made up excuses used to immediately dismiss any and all evidence that makes its way out to the public. That is why NASA has earned the nickname Never a Straight Answer. However, I will remain on what is relevant to this story. Did Leland Melvin actually see a form of organic life while in space? Now, I'm sure many of you are probably thinking they're likely telling the truth because biological life cannot survive in the vacuum of space while being bathed in unfiltered radiation from our sun, and surprisingly enough, that is actually inaccurate, and allow me to explain why. Now, you will most likely never learn about this in school, and you guys that haven't watched our past videos probably haven't heard about this anywhere else and likely won't. But in 1988, the Mir was actually found to have fungi growing on it and thriving out in space. For those of you that did not know what the Mir was, it was a space station that operated in low Earth orbit from 1986 to 2001, operated by the Soviet Union and later by Russia. Mir was the first modular space station that was assembled in orbit from 1986 to 1996. A Russian cosmonaut had made this discovery while squinting to set his sights on the passing Earth below. This space explorer instead focused on a thick living mat that had made its way up to the window's hard quartz and nearly obliterated any view. A microbiologist, Natalia Novikova, eventually identified the growth as an aggressive space fungus, and since then, she's spent most of her time examining various forms of fungi found growing aboard the ship. The Mir, it turns out, was nearly overrun with the stuff. Visitors have found numerous fungal patches with hues between green and black, feeding behind control panels, slowly digesting the ship's air conditioner, communications unit, and myriad other surfaces. In fact, if you were to pull out an insulation panel on the Mir, and you would likely have found fungus, and in the heavy radiation of space, Novikova and others said that these fungi could mutate into more virulent forms, possibly harming future space travelers, or even be carried back to Earth to wreak havoc as they join the many Earthbound varieties that relentlessly attack metal, plastic, and glass surfaces. This was actually extremely dangerous because the radiation had actually mutated the fungi rather than kill it, and it made it a sort of super fungi. Nothing like anything we have here on Earth. Now, you're probably wondering why it is considered a super fungi and what exactly makes this fungi so dangerous, and that is because it causes the biodegradation of any material. Fungi require some form of a host in order to grow and survive, and this particular fungi will not just grow on its host, but also eat anything the spores manage to attach themselves to, including solid steel and human flesh. This is the reason that Dr. Ron Joseph filed a lawsuit against NASA when the images sent back from the Mars rover depicting what appeared to be fungal infestation on the planet came to light. We have delved into the case in great detail in past videos as well, and if you don't know about that case, you should definitely go back and watch them. Mars itself is bathed in radiation, but the images clearly depict what looks to be fungus, and the discovery of water on Mars even further supports the theory. Dr. Joseph had about 70 experts on fungi examine NASA's Mars rover images, and they all confirmed that the photos do indeed show fungi on the red planet. The reason for the lawsuit was because NASA wanted to bring soil from the planet back to Earth, and it could potentially cause the fungi to spread from pores brought back in the soil on our own planet, eating whatever it touches, including people. That is as far as I will go on that topic in this video though, so if you are interested in it, then I definitely recommend going back and watching our earlier videos to get the details, and I also recommend looking for the court documents, which can be found online, and I will gladly link them to anyone that is interested in reading them down in the comments. Now, the main reason I brought this up though, is not to tell you about the destructive qualities of this fungus. The reason I brought this up is because fungi are a form of biological life, which means that there certainly are forms of life that can survive in the vacuum of space, which is why it relates to Leland Melvin's claims. Before you dismiss this case and accept NASA's story of it being ice off the Freon hose, you should consider the fact that it is not impossible for life to survive out in space, and that there is a chance that Leland Melvin very well could have actually saw a living biological form of life while out in space, and I think there is a chance that he could have been correct in his claims about this supposed biological-looking entity floating away from the craft's payload. Leland Melvin is a very accomplished and credible man, holding a Bachelor's of Science in Chemistry and a Master's degree in Material Science Engineering, along with being the only astronaut to have ever been drafted into the NFL. The man is clearly very competent, and I think he is about as good as it gets in terms of a credible witness. Keeping the existence of this super fungi in mind, I would like to know how you guys feel about these claims. Do you guys think he saw some form of life while he was in space? Do you think NASA is covering up what he saw? I will say that after seeing the lies of NASA surrounding other subjects, such as UFOs spotted in space, the Phobos incident, which we have also discussed in past videos, the fungi on Mars, the strange structures on our moon, and a laundry list of other things that relate to life in space in any form, I think they most likely are attempting to cover this up, and I believe it is likely that Leland Melvin actually could have saw some form of biological life while in space. Of course, what that life is, no one can say for certain, and until we get NASA to finally tell the truth about this topic and stop covering these sorts of situations up rather than do any real on-the-surface work looking into them, we will likely never get a straight answer. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today, but stay tuned because there is a lot more coming and we will have it posted very soon. If you liked the video, then please don't forget to smash that like button on your way out, share it, comment, and most importantly, hit that subscribe button and tap that notification bell. It really helps us out, and it'll let you guys stay up to date by sending you a message straight to your inbox every time we upload a new video, that you could stay on the up and up with all of the latest alternative news. And remember, you have to hit the bell button, or YouTube will not notify you when our new videos come out. Unfortunately, just subscribing on YouTube simply is not enough these days, since YouTube seems to want to pick and choose the content that people see, but that will not stop us from moving forward. Also, if you want updates on when our videos will be coming out, then please go follow our Facebook page. The link is down in the video description. And if you have some UFO footage or evidence that you would like us to feature on the channel, then please email it over to us. Our email is down in the description as well, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Also, if you guys want to help keep this channel going strong, then buying some of our merch or donating even $1 a month to our Patreon would be extremely appreciated, because YouTube is not paying us, so this is all out of pocket for us. However, as I've said many times before, we love it and we won't be quitting anytime soon. Thanks again for your support, guys. It means a lot to us, and don't forget to browse the channel if you're new and get yourself up to speed. As always, I'm Richard with Alien Bros, and I'll see you guys again next video.